Recently, I made a video talking about some games that I think you should pick up on the 3DS before the eShop closes. And loads of people commented in on games that I hadn't thought of, ones that I hadn't heard of before. So I thought I'd make a follow-up video. So these are more 3DS games to pick up, but these are specifically eShop exclusive games. So you will completely lose access to these after the eShop closes. I just want to very quickly say thank you to everybody who did comment. I haven't played all of these myself. Some of them are now on my list to pick up, but I thought it would be good to try and get as much information out there as possible. I'm going to go through these games pretty quickly because there's quite a few on here and I don't want this video to take forever. So I'll just say a few things on each one and then we'll move on. So here we go. So we're going to start off with Phoenix Wright. Now there are two Phoenix Wright games that are eShop exclusive. These are Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. There are some other Phoenix Wright games on the 3DS, however they've either been ported over to the Switch, the trilogy's been ported over, or they are available in a physical copy. So Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton, you can get in a physical copy, although it's very expensive. However, Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice are eShop exclusive. You won't be able to get those after the eShop closes. They might come across to Switch at some point, but we don't really know. So if you are at all interested, then these are two that I would look to pick up quickly, because by the time this comes out, there will only be a few days left with the eShop open. Next up, we have a game called HarmoKnight. Now, this is a rhythm game that's being created by Game Freak, who are the creators of Pokemon. It's not very often that they make a non-Pokemon game, but when they do, they seem to do pretty well with it. At least HarmoKnight is pretty well loved. It's not a very expensive game. In fact, a lot of the games on here, because they are small eShop exclusive games, they will not be very expensive. So have a look. If you're interested, pick it up. And just like HarmoKnight, another Game Freak game is Pocket Card Jockey. This one I don't have, but this one is on my list to pick up. It's kind of a mix of a horse racing game and an actual card game, and by all accounts, it's really well loved. It's a good little game to throw quite a lot of hours into, even for not very much money. Pocket Card Jockey and HarmoKnight, two to pick up for sure. Now, over time, 3DS got quite a few 3D classic remake games. These include games like Excite Bike, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure. All of these are small games. They sort of act like a virtual console. You can pick up these older games with the 3D effect. They're not very expensive. They will be gone forever. And really, there's quite a lot of history here that you could get back to. And there's also similarly some older virtual console games, some Game Boy games, Link's Awakening, that kind of thing. If you have any love for Nintendo's past at all, and you want to be able to relive these games, then check those out. Level 5 are pretty well known for their mainline games, Professor Layton, Fantasy Life, Yokai Watch, those types of games. However, they did make quite a few small eShop exclusive games, and that's what we're going to talk about next. These are Liberation Maiden, Weapon Shop de Omas, and Attack of the Friday Monsters. Between these three, you've got quite a different variety of gameplay styles. One of them is sort of like a childlike adventure game. One of them is a sort of mech shooter type game. And one of them is a little mini game that involves forging weapons to lend out to heroes that need them for adventuring. Level 5 did actually make quite a few of these small games, so you could check out the other ones as well. There's also a game called Crimson Shroud, which is sort of like a tabletop RPG, but condensed down onto the 3DS. You get into scenarios and roll the dice to determine the outcome, create your character. It's very RPG-like in that sense. So if you like level 5, then these 4 games might be something that you'd be interested in. Next up, we have Dillon's Rolling Western. So there are 3 of these games, but 2 of them are eShop only. The third one you can get a physical copy of, at least here where I am you can, but the first 2 are eShop only. This is a tower defense game with a bit of a twist. You sort of roll around the desert, and as well as setting up towers, you can fight the oncoming waves yourself. You can put quite a lot of time into these as well. They're probably one of the longer games on this list. I've got the first one and I'm planning to pick up the second one before the eShop closes. And then I'll probably wait and get the third one physically because it's not very expensive over here and I think it'll be around for a while. But the first 2 will go away soon, so have a look if you're at all interested. Next up, we're going to go on to a series that I hadn't really ever heard of before until it was commented on one of my other videos, and that is the Denpamen. So in this game, you scan your real life surroundings looking for these Denpamen. You find them, you capture them, and then you take them into dungeons and you use them to battle the creatures that you find there. There are actually 3 of these games on the 3DS. They're all on the eShop. I'm showing the trailer for the third one at the moment, and it seems to have elements of island building and creating a base. It's a really unique game. I've not seen anything like it before, and so that's why I'm including it in the video. Mario vs Donkey Kong Tipping Stars is a little bit of an updated take on the classic Mario vs Donkey Kong game. It seems to involve a little bit more puzzling than the classic Mario vs Donkey Kong game. I'm not sure we'll see this anytime soon going forward on any other consoles, so have a look at that one. Okay, so we're going to go on to a few different puzzle series now. So the first one is Pullblox or Pushmo, depending on where you're from. There are 3 games in this series, all of them on the eShop. They're really quite fun. I've been playing them on my 3DS. They involve maneuvering blocks in order to climb to the top of the tower. As the series goes on, they introduce new mechanics like blocks falling or stretching out. They're quite clever puzzlers and each one has quite a lot of levels. I haven't played a lot of games on this list, but I have played Pushmo and I would definitely recommend having a look at these. Similarly, Boxboy, a few games on the 3DS eShop. This is a very beloved series. We have had one of these on the Switch, but so far the first three are stuck on the 3DS. So if you like the one on the Switch and you're looking to get into the previous games, then pick those up quickly. And for the last puzzle series, then Picross is a very well-known puzzle type of game. There's quite a few of these on the 3DS. There's a lot on the Switch too as well, but if you're looking for more Picross, maybe you don't have a Switch, then check those out on the 3DS before the eShop closes. Okay, I'm now going to go on to two games that are eShop exclusive, but only in certain regions. So they've each had a physical release in one region but not the other. Rhythm Heaven Megamix is eShop exclusive in the US. There was a cartridge that came out in Europe, but if you're in the US then you can't get that. We do have a Rhythm Heaven game coming out on the Switch soon, but again, if you're at all interested in the older games in the series, then check this one out. Also, this one has a lot of DLC which you won't be able to buy after the eShop closes, so keep that in mind. And then on the other side, Shin Megami Tensei 4 does have a physical edition in the US, but it doesn't have a physical version here in Europe, so that's eShop exclusive over here, so just be aware of that. It will disappear when the eShop closes. Next up, we have Nintendo Badge Arcade. I think a lot of people will have this installed already. I had this installed for a very long time, to the point where I didn't realize I actually had to install it. I kind of thought it came baked into the system, but it's just fun to collect the badges. We don't really know what's going to happen after the eShop closes. Will we still get the 2 free plays every day in order to collect all the remaining badges? We're not sure, there's not been any official word on it yet, but if you don't have it already, I would download it just in case you can. There's no harm in it, you might get a few fun badges that you like before the eShop closes. This is one of those pieces of software that I think really gives some personality to the 3DS, so I would definitely recommend having a look at this one. And the last thing that I just want to highlight is if you have any games with DLC, well, DLC was done a little bit strangely on the 3DS. You didn't buy it on the eShop, you bought it through the game itself, and sometimes you had to progress so far in order to actually unlock the ability to buy the DLC, which is really unusual. So games like Fire Emblem, Radiant Historia, I know that some Phoenix Wright games have DLC as well. If there's a game you like and you're wondering if it has DLC, then just have a quick look just to be sure, because like I say, it's not on the eShop. You have to go in through the game itself and you'll lose access to do that once the eShop closes, even though it's through the game. Okay guys, so there we go. Those are all the eShop exclusive games that I know of that I think you should check out before it closes. Even with all of those and my previous video, I might still have missed some games, so do let me know in the comments and everybody can have a look. It's such a shame that the eShops are closing, but hopefully with these videos you sort of feel a bit more prepared and you're managing to pick up the things that you want to get before the inevitable closure. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.